Good morning, children. Today I am going to teach you the soil resources of India. So, regarding the soil resources of India, we have soil forms the topmost layer of the earth's land surface. It is thin layer of loose mixture of small rock particles and rotting organic matter that covers much of the land. Various forces of nature, such as changing temperature, running water, and wind, affect the formation of a soil. So, these forces of nature, along with the chemical and organic changes that takes place in the soil, contribute to the evolution of the soil. So, we have, as per the definition, it can also be defined as a mixture of small rocks, particles, debris, etc. Important. Soil is very, very important for the growth of the plant. It supports various living organisms on the earth. Much of our requirement of daily need or food, clothing, directly indirectly is derived from the soil, and of all the agricultural resources, soil is of the prime importance. Soil fertility is also very important. Various chemicals are added to the soil in order to add the fertility to the land. There are various constituents of soil. Amongst them, we have humus, which is most important, which acts as a fertilizer, the catalyst to the soil. Apart from that, we have silica, clay, sand are the other constituents of the soil. So, fertile soil has various important characteristics. Soil fertility also can be improved by adding fertilizers to the soil to make up for the missing nutrients. So, this is all about the importance of the soil and how totally the soil is very much important, the prime importance for the growth of agriculture or the growth of the crops in the various parts of our country. There are various factors for soil formation. Relief depends upon the topography, depend upon the geographical feature, relief feature of a particular place like mountain, plains, plateaus. Accordingly, the type of the soil has been identified. Like mountain, we have the mountain or the forest soil. In the arid region, we have the arid soil. In the plateau region, like in the Deccan Plateau region of our country, we have the black soil. Plains, like northern plains of our country, we have the alluvial soil. Parent or bedrock is another important factor for the formation of soil. Parent rock, you must be knowing it, like below the earth, that we have the parent rock. From there, the formation of the soil has been done. 4 categories of soil making of the rock soil is there. Then climate of a particular place also affects the formation of a particular kind of a soil. Vegetation and other forms of the life especially also affect the factors which is related to the formation of the soil. Time of maturity of the soil is much larger if we can compare to the erosion of the soil. That means it takes more time for the soil to get formed than the erosion of the soil. And then we have the classification of the soil. The classification of the soil, first it can be categorized into 2 heads. One is called in situ and one is ex situ. In situ, residual or sedimentary soil, which is all soils are formed there wherever they are formed in the original position. Like we have the black soil, red soil, laterite soil, desert soil. These are in situ. And transported soil is ex situ. That means they are being transported from their original place by the riverine or by the flowing of the river, brought down by the river as a silt. That we have the ex situ. In India, we have especially the alluvial soil, which is formed because of ex situ. And now we have the various forms and the types of soil: alluvial, black, red, laterite, arid, and forest. These are very, very important part. Now we will see the map in which we have the various kind of soils which is found in the various parts of our country. Especially we have in the northern plains of India. Basically, we have alluvial soil, which is going towards from the northern plains, especially stretching towards the rest of the east. Black soil, the plateau region of our country covers the black soil, which is very good for the growth of cotton crop. Why? Because black soil, the black color comes from the lava soil. The lava which comes out from the volcano, it gets piled one over the other as a sheet. It's spread over a large area. That is where the Deccan Plateau has been formed, and there we have the black soil. Then we have the red and yellow soil. You will find the patches of red and yellow soil in the most parts of our country. Especially we have the parts of Orissa, you will find. We have the Western Ghats. We have some parts of Eastern India also. You will find that red soil, and the laterite soil you will find in Orissa, the laterite soil. Then we have the first one, that is called the alluvial soil, which is formed ex situ. They are formed by the sediments brought down by various rivers. They are rich in chemical ingredients. The river deposits very fine particles of soil called alluvium in their plains during the course of their long journey, and it is also known as riverine soil because it is mainly found in the river basin. Now alluvial soil, it is by the deposition of the river. The alluvial soil in the upper Ganga valley is dry, porous, sandy, faint yellow. West Bengal and Bangladesh is more compact. It is light and porous, therefore easily tillable. It is fertile soil, is it rich in minerals, especially potash and lime, and it is deficient in nitrogen and humus, except the alluvium of Ganga deltaic region, which is rich in humus. So it is suitable for the growth of large variety of crops, especially rabi as well as kharif crop. Rabi and kharif crop means summer and winter crops, and soil in the drier areas is more alkaline in nature. New alluvium is termed as, two types of alluvial soil are there, Khadar and Bhangar. Now see here, alluvial soil, area and region. First I'll tell you Khadar and Bhangar. Khadar is new alluvium, Bhangar is older alluvium. Khadar is more fertile as compared to Bhangar soil. So alluvial soil you will find in the regions, especially northern plains, deltas of eastern coastal plain. The distribution we can see here, like we will find the distribution Brahmaputra rivers extending from Punjab, Sindh, the Ganga, Indus, Punjab, Haryana, Uttarakhand, West Bengal have alluvial soil. And then we also cover the part of Gujarat and few patches in Rajasthan. The crops here grown is, we have sugarcane, cotton, tobacco, rice, wheat, oilseeds, gram. In the lower Ganga Brahmaputra valley, it is also useful for jute cultivation like in West Bengal, that we can see, and also for various cereals and pulses. The alluvial soil is used for the growth of such kind of crops. This is the most important part of the types of soil, that is alluvial soil. You will find most of the questions from here. Then we have the black soil, which is black in color. It is also called ragur soil. It is dark color, suitable for the growth of the crop that is called cotton. It is a residual soil. It is formed in the place of origin over the underlying rock. Since it is formed by the denudation of volcanic rock, it is also known as lava soil. Now it is a fine textured. Their soils are clay, deep and impermeable. They develop cracks in their hot dry season. Rich in soil nutrients such as calcium carbonate, magnesium, potash and lime. It is black in color. It is very fertile in most of the places. It is very clay, up to 50% of clay content into it. Because high clay content, the soil expands when wet and become difficult to plow. During the dry season, black soil shrinks and develops big crack with help in air circulation. So it has high quantities of lime, egg and iron, magnesium, and generally poor in percentage of phosphorus, nitrogen. Now we have the black soil regions. We have the Deccan Trap region, Plateaus, Maharashtra, Saurashtra, Malwa, MP. Then we also have the distribution here: Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, and some parts of Tamil Nadu. The crops which are grown here, you will find here cereals, oilseeds, citrus fruits, vegetables, tobacco, sugarcane. The moisture retentive of black soil makes it suitable for dry farming. So cotton is the most important crop which is grown in the black soil. So this is all about the parts of black soil, the importance of black soil, the area, the region, the crop content, the characteristic feature of the black soil. This is very important. Especially you need to know that we have cotton, the growth of cotton which is done in the Deccan Plateau region, especially Maharashtra, which is having a rich merchandise in cotton. First cotton textile mill was also set up at Maharashtra, all because of the we have this product. Red and yellow soil. Red soil, you will develops on the crystalline rock, prolonged weathering by rainfall. Crystalline and metamorphic rock of the peninsular plateau break up from the soil. The soil differs from place to place, parent rock material and climatic condition. It is red in color. Why? Because of the presence of iron oxide. At several places its color slightly changes and it appears brown or grey. It looks yellow when it occurs in a hydrated form. Red soil develops on crystalline igneous rock. The soil develops a reddish color due to diffusion of iron oxide and crystalline metamorphic rock. It looks yellow when it occurs in a hydrated form and seen mainly in the low rainfall area. So you will find this, like it is also got its name because of its color. It is porous, high percentage of iron oxide. It is shallow. It is poor in nitrogen, phosphorus, or potassium and organic matter. It is ideal for dry farming, especially for poor rainfall areas. It is not fertile but responds to fertilizers. Area and region where you find red and yellow soil: areas of low rainfall in the eastern and western part of Deccan Plateau. It is also found in the parts of Orissa, Chhattisgarh, southern parts of Middle Ganga Plain, and along with that, we have the predominant zone of the Western Ghats. We have here the parts that we have: Tamil Nadu, Rajasthan Hills, Bundelkhand, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, Chhattisgarh, Manipur, Telangana, Meghalaya, various places that we have. It extends northward in the west along the Konkan coast and Maharashtra. Crops which are grown in the red soil is mostly wheat, cotton, pulses, tobacco, oilseeds, potato, etc. are cultivated. We have groundnut and potatoes can be grown on porous soil at higher levels and sugar on heavy clays at lower levels. We have rice, ragi, tobacco which are grown in these regions. So though red soil is suitable for cultivation, all types of crops can be grown here. Now last we have the laterite soil. The laterite soil, which is the because of the leaching process, it has been formed. Especially leaching is the process in which the nutrients get percolated down below the soil due to heavy rainfall, thus leaving the topsoil infertile. This is called desilication. There are two types of laterite soil: upland laterite and lowland laterite. Upland laterite are formed over hills and uplands. They are transported by stream towards lowland. Such transported are known as lowland laterite. So name from Latin. Become a soft when we wet and so hard when dried. Humus content is low, needs high content of manure fertilizer. Red color due to iron oxide. Iron oxide. So laterite soil is also very important here. If we can see, you will also find in page number 110 in total geography the chart which is given for you to remember there about the various kind of soil, its formation, areas, characteristics, and various kind of crops. So the laterite soil, then the laterite soil, the area is mainly highland areas of Peninsula Plateau, especially on the summits of Sahyadris, Eastern Ghats, Rajmal Hills. Eastern parts of peninsular patches of laterite soil are found in Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, West Bengal, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Karnataka, Kerala. Crops which are grown here, you will find here, because it is laterite soil, a low fertility because of high acidity and low moisture retention. We have growing of crops such as ragi, rice, and sugarcane. Paddy is grown on lower elevations, where tea, cinchona, rubber, and coffee are grown on the higher elevation. So laterite soil is important for the growth of these kind of crops and are grown in this particular region. So this is the importance of laterite soil. Very, very important. Very, very important. Therefore, crops are also, as you have already seen, so most part you will find in the laterite soil, which is found in the parts of Madhya Pradesh and all, Kerala and Karnataka. Arid soil, they are sandy in texture and saline, lack of moisture and humus, high salt and calcium content. Kankar and impure calcium carbonate content is very, which is restricts in infiltration of water. Nitrogen insufficient and phosphate is normal. Its color can be red to brown and sandy in texture. So arid soil you will find in the desert region, arid region. The texture is saline in nature. Lack of moisture because arid region, so evaporation is the most important process which takes place here. High contains of salt and calcium content is there. Kankar, impure calcium carbonate content is high. Nitrogen insufficient and phosphate is normal, and color can be red, brown, sandy in texture in the arid soil region that we can find here. And then it is also very important. Then we have arid soil parts of western Rajasthan. You will find the various parts of Rajasthan, Kutch of Gujarat, especially in this region you will find the arid soil. Crop grown is wheat, millet, pulses, and other place and other crops. We have millets, jowar, bajra, ragi, which is grown here. Tobacco, etc. can be grown in this particular region. So we have the crops which is grown in this particular region. A very, very important arid soil not very important, as we can say that, because we have alluvial soil, black soil, red soil, laterite soil. That is more important. Arid soil, very small patches you will find in the India, especially in the desert regions you will find. And gram, wheat, millet, kind of various millets, maize, you will find the growth of these particular crops in the arid soil region. So the next one, we have the forest soil also. Forest soil humus content is less, and thus the soil is acidic in nature. Immature soil with low humus and acidic, loamy and silty in valley sides. Area forest of Himalayas, lower parts of the valleys. You will find it in the forest area, especially in the forest areas. So forest soil, acidic in nature, highly acidic in nature, humus content, immature soil, not mature enough for growth of all kind of crops, cannot be grown in this region. Like when we do cropping in Assam, tea is grown there. Loamy, it's very loamy and very silty in valley sides, especially because forest soil is there. Then the second part is the most important part, that is called the soil erosion. Now, what is soil erosion? Basically, the removal of the top layer of the soil is called soil erosion. It can be covered by water, wind, and human activities. That is called soil erosion. It forms the soil degradation. It is naturally occurring process on all land. The agents of soil erosion are water, wind, each contributing a significant amount of soil loss each year. Soil erosion may be slow process that continues relatively unnoticed, or it may occur at an alarming rate, causing serious loss of topsoil. The loss of soil from farmland may be reflected in reduced crop production potential, lower surface water quality, and damaged drainage network. Soil erosion by water can be through sheet erosion, rill erosion, gully erosion, leaching, sea or shore erosion, stream bank erosion. Human and global activities that increase soil erosion can be faulty agricultural practices, deforestation, that is the removal of the trees, that is deforestation, road and urbanization construction process. When we talk about urbanization, setting up of industries, transportation, making of the roads, cutting of the forest area, that can lead to the soil erosion. Climate change also leads to the soil erosion. Flooding of a particular plain, that we can say. Land degradation can be because of the landslides, maybe any kind of earthquake or volcano, or any kind of natural accidents that may happen, mishap can happen, that leads to the land degradation. Sedimentation of aquatic ecosystem, airborne and dust pollution, these are human and global activities that increase the method of soil erosion. Therefore, soil erosion can be loss of vegetative cover also. It can also be gully erosion, uncontrolled grazing of domestic animals, strip cropping, as you can see. Soil erosion, the strip cropping is, this is a kind of a prevention to the soil. We have terrace farming, shelter belts, counter plowing, strip cropping. Crops are grown in alternate strips of land and check the impact of winds. Construction of various dams, rivers cause soil erosion. Dams are built on upper course to control the erosion of the soil. Plugging gullies, the gullies made in the soil are plugged with deposition of silt during the heavy rains. Planting of various trees in case of shelter belts, the planted along the edges of the field, the wasteland, and on the steep slopes to prevent the soil erosion, as well as to enhance the capacity of the soil to retain the water. So there are various prevention to stop the soil erosion. It can be terrace farming, again it can be shelter belts, it can be counter plowing. Plowing along the counters or slope prevents soil being washed away by the rainwater or by the surface runoff. Counters act as a bund. Terraces are level step like small fields with even slope. Counterplowing is common in Japan and China. There are preventions from soil erosion to increase vegetative cover of the land, which helps to prevent both wind and water. Terracing is an extremely effective means of erosion control. Wind breaks of rows, trees, and shrubs that are planted along the edges of agricultural fields to shield the field against winds. Traditional planting methods such as mixed cropping and crop rotation have also been shown to significantly reducing the soil erosion rate. Soil conservation schemes are also been introduced in India under the 5-year plan. Soil conservation measures are launched. The centrally sponsored scheme of integrated watershed management in the catchment areas of flood-prone rivers aims at enhancing the ability of the catchment, reducing erosion and constant silt flooding. A scheme for reclamation and development of riverine areas was launched in Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, and Rajasthan.